Hey guys, Roy Duja here from the Convergence Point, and I had a chance to meet Aquaman, and I really loved the film, and I thought this film is worth of a huge review, and we haven't done any reviews in our channel yet, so I thought this is the best, like the golden opportunity for us to do that. So I'm gonna get right into it, and you know, Jason Momoa, that guy stole the show with this movie. Stole the show, literally. Like the acting he did, coupled with Amber Heard's stellar performance as Mera, it's like over the top. Like it's way out of the league for any DC movie yet, I guess. It's romance that's stand out compared to any previous movie except Wonder Woman, which had Chris Pine and Gal Gadot in one of the best romances in movie for me personally. So that coupled with Nicole Kidman's amazing, not it's not perfect, but Nicole Kidman did a very good job of playing Atlanta. And then we go to Patrick Wilson, who played Orm or the Ocean Master. Now his villainous role, I rank it second to Zod in the DCU, and compared to Heath Ledger, obviously he's nothing compared to that. But his expressions, he didn't have a lot of screen time, but he did a very good job. Now next going to Yahya Abdul Mateen, he is the comic book villain which we all deserve. He is the character which we deserve. Like he's Black Manta, awesome, superb, really. And the way he gets to that Black Manta position, it's a bit emotional. That path is a bit emotional compared to any villain in the DCU. I guess he is the emotionally attached guy, attached villain for me personally. Again, and then we go to Tamara Morrison. He was okay. He was okay. I didn't like him that much, but he played his part pretty good. Okay, now talking about William Dafoe, he did a very good job of portraying Vulko, and actually he had a part in Justice League as Vulko itself in the end of Justice League, but that whole part was cut. And in that, Arthur says that I have to go home, I have to meet my dad, and that's how it ends actually. But that part was not shown. Now that's a different thing. We're not gonna talk about that. Now he is obviously known for playing the iconic role of Green Goblin in the first Spider-Man movie, and then again in Spider-Man 2 and 3 he has cameos, sort of cameos, and so that's his part, and he played it. He didn't have a much of a role in that, but he did pretty good. Now talking about the King of Zebel, Dolph Lundgren, he also pretty. I mean, his acting was pretty basic. He didn't have much of a role in that, but he did pretty good for me. Now talking about the main actress of the whole movie, Amber Heard did a very decent job of portraying Mera. Now I've told you already about this thing, but I just have to say that she stole the show. Okay, this is a bit of spoiler, but there is a huge war going on. If you saw the trailer, then you know what I'm talking about. And then in the middle of that, there's a huge kiss scene, which is outstanding. The visuals, mind blowing, and at the same time, she's so sexy in that. And Jason Momoa itself is so fucking handsome. So that's it for acting. Now moving on to the next. Now, as some people said, it doesn't feel that much cheesy and it doesn't feel a hollow movie. Like if you take Ready Player One for example, it felt like a hollow movie. Although it had a lot of action set pieces and stuff. Now this movie, it had some depth. It had some real emotional impact, like real emotional depth, which I cannot express it. But you should watch this movie. Obviously, if you are thinking that it's a bad movie in terms of its portrayal of characters. No, they have some valid depth. Okay, now moving on to the cinematography. Don Burgess, who already has 2 Academy Awards for movies for cinematography, obviously. Now he already did The Conjuring 2 with James Wan, and I don't think any other movie he did with James Wan, but they two collaborated very well in this whole movie, and the cinematography is Blade Runner 2049 level. It's not that level, but it reaches there, it matches there, and it has a very good chance of getting a nomination at least for the best cinematography in any movies of 2018. So moving on to the next thing, the music. Now, talking about the music, Robert Gregson Williams did the score, and his composition is usually it's plain and ballad type, but for this he introduced some new elements because he already had to. I mean, the DCU follows the Hans Zimmer style, and the other guy is Jungi XL. It has a main beat, that kind of thing, electro. So he had to introduce some new elements, and he did that beautifully, and I really liked it. And he also did for Wonder Woman, Robert Gregson. But for Wonder Woman, he already had the elements taken from BVS, I mean Batman and Superman, which was done by Hans Zimmer and Jungi XL. And for this, it was completely original, and there are some similarities between this score and MOS, I mean Man of Steel. But it's good. It's really good, and at least it's like way better than Justice League score. Now, talking about the visuals, that is where the movie shines. It really outblows everything else in the market as of like released in 2018. Some people even compare it to Black Panther, but yeah, Black Panther has a lot of similarities with Aquaman, and Aquaman has some similarities with Black Panther. But I'll talk about that later. Now I have to focus on the visuals. Atlantis is awesome. It's more or less like Wakanda, but it's awesome. It's really awesome. It's more detailed than Wakanda could ever be. And okay, once you watch the movie, you know what I'm talking about. You'll understand what I'm talking about. Now, moving on to the next thing, the similarities with Black Panther. Now, both are basic brother versus brother fight. In that one, also the guy is half brother and the real brother, pure blood. In here, it's the inverse, but still, it's the same like Shakespearean story of brother versus brother, just like James Watt said. James Watt said that it would be a Shakespearean story, and it has some elements of that. Now, the main hero of the movie is not the actor, is not the editor, it's the director, James Wan. He brought a lot of elements, and he elevated the script. Actually, he modified the script also, but he elevated all the material related to Aquaman, and he turned this guy into a serious guy from his comic. You know, you if you have read his comics, you know that he's a funny guy, and all his interpretations are based on humor elements. And talking about the humor elements, it's a bit out of the pace, and it's not exactly Marvel level humor, and it's actually a bit kind of awkward. Like everyone, like in every other review which I've seen, it's like that. They are correct. I mean, the humor is a bit out of place, but that is the only negative thing which I've found in this entire movie. And basically, it's not just a superhero movie. It's more of a fantasy, not science fiction element, but more fantasy element has to it. It has a lot of like lot of the Rings vibe. I feel it a lot during the third act, which is mind blowing. The third act is the best act of this whole movie. Now that's it for this video, and hope you like the review. And if you have any kind of questions about the movie, or if you have any queries related to this movie, I'm ready to help. Leave it at the comments. I'm Roduje signing out from the Convergence Point. Goodbye.